Theo managed to make plenty of enemies during his brief spell on the cobbles, largely due to the way he mistreated his husband, Todd Grimshaw. Throughout their relationship, Todd endured ongoing emotional abuse, although it took a long time before those around them finally recognized Theo's true nature. Once his darker behavior came to light, Theo not only lost Todd, but also his business partner, Gary Windass, who firmly stood by Todd's side. Gary isn't known for holding back when it comes to dealing with his rivals, so after Theo's death, it comes as little shock that he finds himself under police questioning. In the episodes ahead, Lisa and her colleague DC Kit Green begin to doubt Gary's alibi, believing it doesn't quite add up. With the deleted CCTV footage from Gary's computer proving impossible to recover, Lisa admits they are effectively back at the beginning of the investigation. Kit doesn't react well to this setback, later confronting Gary in the street and making it clear he remains the prime suspect. Speaking about the storyline, Jacob Roberts explained that Kit faces a tricky challenge while investigating people he knows personally. He described how difficult it is to switch between being a police officer in one moment and acting like a normal acquaintance the next, comparing it to playing two sides of the same character, one driven by loyalty, the other focused entirely on justice. However, Lisa appears less convinced that Gary is guilty, as her attention soon shifts to someone else. When she and Kit arrive at the Rovers, she notices Todd staring at them from across the bar, interpreting his tense reaction as a sign of guilt. But is she correct in her suspicion, or is Todd simply struggling to come to terms with Theo's sudden death? Megan is finally brought to account as she is taken into custody in Coronation Street. But could she still get away with it? Arriving on the cobbles last year, Megan went on to exploit teenager Will Driscoll over a long period. Convinced they were romantically involved, Will remained unaware that her behavior was deeply inappropriate and abusive. It was Will's friend Sam Blakeman who ultimately uncovered the truth after finding evidence that exposed Megan's actions. In the aftermath, the Driscoll family have been left deeply shaken. Not only are they burdened with guilt for not realizing what was happening to Will, but they have also been told there is no clear physical evidence to prove the abuse. During this time, Will has struggled to accept the reality of what happened to him, remaining in denial. However, a turning point begins to emerge as he eventually decides to go to the police. It is Tim Metcalf who helps him reach this decision. Will has found it difficult to open up, largely because those closest to him don't fully understand his experience. Tim, however, shares his own past, revealing that as a teenager he was involved with an older woman. Although he believed at the time that it was something he wanted, he later came to understand that he had in fact been taken advantage of. Shortly before this important breakthrough, Will secretly meets Megan as they plan to leave for France together. To cover his tracks, he tells his family that he intends to move to Scotland with his mother. When the day comes, his loved ones say their goodbyes as he gets into a taxi and leaves Weatherfield. During the journey, Tim receives an alert that the train to Glasgow has been cancelled, raising his suspicions when Will insists they continue to the station regardless. Back at the pub, Ben realizes that Will's passport is missing and quickly becomes alarmed. He rushes to the cab office and asks Steve McDonald to contact Tim, urging him not to let Will out of his sight. Fortunately, the plan Tim puts in place, along with his heartfelt conversation, seems to have an impact. By the end of the week, Will admits to his family that going to the police was one of the hardest things he's ever done, as he still had feelings for Megan. Meanwhile, at the station, Lisa questions Megan about the allegations. When confronted with the claim that she had a sexual relationship with Will, Megan dismisses it entirely, insisting it is untrue. Will she manage to talk her way out of the situation, or will the truth finally catch up with her? Jody's next target has been revealed in Coronation Street, but her risky behavior could soon backfire. Jody came to Weatherfield with a clear mission: to ruin her sister Shona Platt, who left home as a teenager after becoming a young mum. This decision meant Jody was left behind with their difficult parents, and over time she has developed a deep resentment towards Shona for walking away. As her scheme to take over Shona's life began to unfold, it also became clear that Jody seems to take a disturbing level of satisfaction in causing trouble for others. Her attempt to push David into betraying Shona led to a tense and unsettling situation in recent scenes, though things didn't go according to her plan. In a moment of anger, Jody replied to a flirtatious message David had sent to Shona's phone, pretending to be her and sending a heart emoji when he suggested they enjoy having the house to themselves. Later, when David returned home intoxicated, he discovered candles set up to create a romantic setting and climbed into bed with who he believed was his wife. In reality, it was Jody, dressed in Shona's clothing and even wearing her scent. The illusion didn't last long, as the moment Jody softly said his name, David quickly realized he was with the wrong sister. An argument quickly erupted, with David accusing Jody of orchestrating the entire situation, while she attempted to manipulate him and twist events to make him seem at fault. Jody's eagerness to reveal the incident to Shona made her intentions obvious. She wanted to destroy their marriage by making David appear unfaithful. Fortunately, things didn't escalate that far, as Sarah overheard the confrontation and stepped in. In the episodes ahead, the atmosphere becomes increasingly tense. David insists that Jody must leave, but she tries to stay by planting doubts in Shona's mind about what really happened. Struggling to find somewhere else to go, Jody overhears Ken Barlow discussing Daniel Osborne's planned trip to the Lake District and quickly forms a plan of her own. She later sneaks into Daniel's flat, only to be surprised when she finds him there. Thinking quickly, Jody claims she discovered a spare key outside and was returning it, though Daniel is clearly unconvinced. Despite telling her to leave, Daniel soon finds himself in a difficult position. Jody threatens him, saying she will expose the fact that he hasn't actually gone away if he refuses to let her stay. Later in the week, Jody returns briefly to the Platt house and reassures Shona that there are no grudges, claiming she has found somewhere else to live. However, as she walks away, her expression suggests otherwise. Jody's actions have already been troubling, but now that she's moved on from the Platt home, her behavior could become even more dangerous. Meanwhile, Daniel's situation ties into a developing storyline that explores the fallout from his past relationship with Megan Walsh. The experience has left him shaken and questioning who he can trust, as he struggles with guilt and the impact it has had on those around him. Jody is unaware of Daniel's past or how unstable he might become under pressure. If he starts to grow suspicious of her behavior, could he end up uncovering the truth about what she's really been doing since arriving in Weatherfield? Coronation Street airs on weeknights at 8:30 p.m. on ITV1 and is also available to stream on ITVX and YouTube.